Yesterday, FBI agents executed 22 search warrants across the city of Minneapolis, raiding daycares, businesses, and homes as part of one of the largest fraud investigations in American history. This story is unlike anything we've seen before. The raids didn't start with a tip from an informant. They started with a YouTube video posted by a 23-year-old from Utah, whose claims were unverified, unsubstantiated, and seen by over 100 million people. In late December 2025, a YouTuber named Nick Shirley drove around Minneapolis with a camera. He visited about a dozen childcare centers that were receiving taxpayer funding through federal programs, and he filmed what he found, or more accurately, what he didn't find. Empty parking lots, locked doors, no children in sight. One center had a sign outside with "learning" spelled wrong. Another appeared completely vacant during business hours. Shirley posted a 42-minute video alleging that these daycare centers were fraudulently collecting millions in government funding while providing little or no actual services to children. State regulators had visited several of these locations within the previous 6 months. One daycare even produced security footage showing children being dropped off the same day Shirley visited and said it was empty. State inspectors who conducted follow-up checks said the centers were, quote, operating as expected. Shirley's claims were not verified. His methods were questioned. His video was controversial. None of that stopped what happened next. Within days of posting, the video had been viewed tens of millions of times on X. Elon Musk shared it, Vice President J.D. Vance shared it, then Attorney General Pam Bondi shared it. And within days, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services froze $185 million in federal child care funding to the entire state of Minnesota. This funding supports real families with real children, frozen because a YouTube video went viral. Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz, who had been running for a third term, announced in January he was dropping out of the race entirely, citing an extraordinarily difficult year for the state. Homeland Security launched investigations, immigration enforcement surged. The story became one of the biggest political flashpoints in the country, all of it triggered by a single YouTube video. Underneath the viral video and the political firestorm, there's a very real, very large, very confirmed fraud scandal in Minnesota that has nothing to do with whether Nick Shirley's video is accurate or not. It's called Feeding Our Future, a nonprofit founded in 2016. Feeding Our Future claimed to distribute meals to thousands of children across Minnesota during the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools were closed, kids needed food, and federal money was flowing. And Feeding Our Future positions itself as a bridge between that money and those kids. 90 million meals in under 2 years. That's more than 120,000 meals every single day. Of course, the FBI got suspicious. They started surveillance, and what they found was, well, staggering. One site claimed to serve 6,000 meals per day. FBI surveillance found it actually averaged around 40 visitors a day. Federal prosecutors alleged that only around 3% of the funding granted to Feeding Our Future was actually spent on food. The rest was funneled directly to the individuals running the scheme. So where did all that money go? Luxury vehicles, high-end real estate, exotic travel, overseas bank accounts in countries where the U.S. cannot seize assets. The leader of the scheme, Amy Bach, was convicted at trial earlier this year. The first sentenced defendant received 12 years in prison and was ordered to pay $47 million in restitution. As of today, 79 people have been indicted, 63 have been found guilty, and federal prosecutors believe the total fraud across Minnesota's social services programs could top $9 billion. That's $9 billion stolen from programs designed to feed children, support families, and care for vulnerable Americans. Which brings us back to yesterday morning. At 6 a.m., federal agents fanned out across Minneapolis, executing 22 search warrants simultaneously. Daycares, businesses, homes. Agents were photographed removing computer monitors, boxes of documents, and plastic evidence bags from multiple locations, including the Quality Learning Center, the misspelled daycare at the center of Shirley's original video. 5 of the raided sites were connected to a state program designed to assist children with autism spectrum disorder. No arrests were made yesterday, but the message was clear. This investigation is expanding, not slowing down. Vice President Vance posted on X, the task force and the DOJ will be relentless in exposing these fraudsters wherever they may be hiding. Governor Walz, despite being at the center of the political firestorm this created, said, if you commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to get caught. So what do we take from all of this? A YouTuber posted a video with unverified claims. It went viral, reached the most powerful people in the country. It ended up freezing $185 million in funding and toppled a gubernatorial campaign. And underneath all of that noise, there was real fraud, a confirmed, prosecuted billion-dollar fraud that had been stealing from Americans' most vulnerable programs for years. The system that was supposed to catch it failed. A judge blocked early attempts to shut down Feeding Our Future. State agencies ignored whistleblowers. Federal money kept flowing. It took a YouTuber, whether his specific claims were accurate or not, to finally force the country to pay attention. It's either inspiring or terrifying depending on how you look at it. If you want to report fraud in a federal program, you can do so at reportfraud.ftc.gov. Drop a comment. Did you know this was happening? Because most people have no idea how big this story actually is. Subscribe to Profit Puzzle for weekly videos on how money really moves.